All right, we're live. All right, good evening, everyone. As soon as I finish going live on Facebook, I'll take the slide down. But as you're coming into the room, like the video, subscribe to the Seven Spheres of Money YouTube channel. If you're watching from YouTube, good evening and welcome to another episode of Nick's Knowledge and Notion series, N-Cube Science series. It's not biology or chemistry, but it's the science of the mind and all the things that go through it. My name is Nick Westbrooks, your host, and I have my man DJ the Money Coach here with me, aka the Young OG, to give his perspective, the Young OG perspective, as well as the financial perspective. Hey DJ, how's it going? Going into the weekend this week.
Oh man, Nick, as always, we are fired up, my friend. Friday, yes. TGIF. However, I have TGIF 3 days out of the week. When you are totally free, your Fridays, what they call it, 5 Fridays and 2 Saturdays, baby. That's what we're talking about. So it's good to see you again. Let's get with it, baby.
Oh, as always, yeah, the life for the free, indeed. Yep. As always, it's great to be here. Great to unwind and have some good conversation. So tonight, I wanted to deal with back to school. I know several schools, in the South, the Southwest, the Midwest, they're already back to school. I'm in the Northwest here in New Jersey. I'll be going back to school within the next week. The staff returning next week, the students returning the week after. So I want to deal with school from home versus homeschooling. But before we get into that, we wanted to talk a little bit about social justice and what's going on with the NBA here. And I see you laughing already. yeah, very, very interesting times we're living in.
Hey, to say the least.
To say the least. Right. Yeah. So on the wake of this police shooting that occurred, the NBA players they decided to not play the rest of the playoffs, and I'm like, okay, I didn't have, to be honest, I didn't have high many expectations for it, but I also didn't expect it to only last for a day.
Oh man. You're not waiting for me to respond to that, are you? Was that my cue?
I mean, it can be. Okay, we're on Facebook
live
now.
I think you might want to take down the slide so they can get this full blast unfiltered.
Yeah, it's coming. I just had to make sure we was going on the other platform. So we're now live on both our platforms. So I'll pull the slide down. But like I said, I didn't have a lot of expectations to start with. I usually don't put a lot of energy towards things like that anymore, because I noticed the pattern, and I understand the game and the numbers game and the money game behind all of this. The commodification of social justice. So I didn't put much energy towards it in the first place, but man, one day, wow. Then they came to agreement. They agreed to the players would continue to play, as long as they turned the NBA arenas into polling sites, and they put together some type of coalition, social justice coalition, No, with the NBA and these other organizations. He's playing the violin.
That's the world's smallest violin.
Play a sad song.
Need some more wine with that cheese.
Play a sad song on that small violin there.
All right. Just let me know when you want me to say something, man. Just
go ahead. Go ahead and go in. Warming up.
Well, first and foremost, and my time on this ball of mud called Earth, I've never known or seen any organization, any body of people who had to get permission to protest. So officially, it was not a protest. It was not a boycott. Because when I have to consult with my employer, my massa, that's not a boycott. That's not a protest. Let's make that clear for the definition. Pick up the dictionary, Webster's, and see what they say what a protest is and what a boycott is. And I'm pretty sure you're not going to find in that book, Merriam-Webster's dictionary, I have to get permission from my bossa to protest or to boycott. So what that was another sham, an embarrassment that lowered any fleeting respect that those ball players had from their masses. That's all that was. That's all that was. Because across the country in multiple sports, they come out looking better. Let me tell you why. Like you said, the codification, because when they showed that, hey, we're going to postpone and we're going to give a little homage and do a vigil, who looks better? The corporation, the massa, because they said, we're going to grieve with you a little bit, and then we're going to get the economic benefit of that because we're showing empathy, we're showing compassion, we're showing corporate best business practices. Thus, you as the fan base will say, oh, wow, they really have a feeling for us. So guess what you're going to start to do? You're going to reach down deeper into your pocket for those virtual tickets and those sponsorships. I'm going to say that again. They come across looking like the saints, the compassionate ones, the people who are empathetic because they didn't hold back. We're going to open up the Coliseum, bring in the voters. We're going to postpone the events to show that we're on your side. No different than putting the decals on the floor. No different than wearing the muted t-shirts that's now becoming a caricature. And then the most blatant one is the one with the bullets on the shirt. But have they stopped the raw image of them showing that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again? See, the brain works this way. Any information that goes in the brain can never be eradicated. It can only be diluted. So it's worse that they walked off with consent and came back immediately. We came to an agreement, an accord. What agreement, accord when the civil rights march, they asked no permission. The boycott of the bus in Alabama, you know how long that was? A year.
Yeah, the whole year. Yep.
Most people think it was a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two. It was a whole freaking year. Brought that institution to its knees. So the fact that you immediately came back, that's kind of like, hey, can I get a mulligan in golf? Can I get a do-over when you play a video? Oh, man, I messed up, man. Let me plug it back in. Let me reset. I don't even remember you did it, but now I have less regard and less respect for you. Now, here's the deal. See, those guys are still thinking about their compensation. Now, mind you, they've already been paid 80% of their salaries because this is the playoffs. And those 3 game 5s, 2 out of those 3 were elimination games. So all you did was extended somebody's job and their vacation 1 more day. Did the corporations lose any money? No, sir. Did they gain equity with the sheep? Yes, they did. And now you got people coming in Wisconsin about showing the image of a young Caucasian who got shot in the head point blank in 2004 and killed by the police officer. So now it is diluting in Kenosha, Wisconsin. It's diluting what's happened to Jacob Blake, because now the guy who the law has been brought to the forefront by the gentleman's father who has pursued to create this new law is going to be the precedent to try this case on behalf of Jacob Blake. You see how they circumvent? And I'm not saying, because any death is one death too many. Right. Any murder is one too many. Any hate crime is one too many. But now it's going to come across as, again, the knight in shining armor with the Caucasian face comes in and wins over Kenosha because, unfortunately and terribly, his son at 17 years of age was pulled over in front of his house by cops, had nothing on him, nothing, and they shot him point blank in the head, killed him. That's now becoming the overlapping narrative in conjunction with, oh, you weren't serious. I knew you weren't. You were coming on back. And guess what? There's no more leverage. It's all gone. Because again, it's like the boy crying wolf. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. But the next day, you right back. And just like with little kids, because I have children. They'll act up for a quick minute. Then you threaten to tighten up that bum. And then they'll get right back in order. But if you let them off, they know how to continue to stretch the rope. It's the same. Give a person an inch and they'll take a mile. So those owners, those corporations, those sponsorships, they just got to get out a free card. That's all that happened. When they walked off and they said the Clippers and the Lakers said, we done for the season. Now, LeBron James looks like a buffoon. And now, see, he's exposed. I got high respect for LeBron James and what he's done by putting his teammates from elementary school, high school, in position to run his business. Love it. But LeBron James, the corporate guy, he's a fraud. And now you got Jordan getting looked as a hero because he convinced him to come back to the table. And every talking head, Shaq, Barkley, Stephen A. Smith, they all had the same tune that they got from Massa. Time to come back to the table. It'd be smart because there's nothing you can do about those deaths and everything. And even if you were not in the bubble, what would you be doing? So it would just make sense for you to play. For who to play? So now you're really seen as just more of just entertainment court jesters for the elite. That's all you did in this hysterical April Fool's Day. That's what I call it. April Fool's Day. Think about it. April Fools, you do stupid, stuff that's unbelievable. April Fools. We go back to normal the next day. That's all you saw. Everything across the board. Everything. They would have been better served by just playing the games, stating they little, crap that they've been doing with all this fake stuff. BLM, I can breathe, I'm a man, equity. Then walking out. It wasn't even 24 hours, man. Wasn't even 24 hours. I'd have had some respect for you if you had held out for a week, maybe.
Right.
But less than 24 hours. Jordan, Isaiah Thomas, they all, hey man, you ought to play. Why? Because you're trying to collect them corporate checks. And if you really that distraught, and Chris Paul, I talked to Jacob Blake's dad, and we have a connection because his dad went to Winston State in North Carolina. Okay, well, if you really feeling this pain, you making millions of dollars. Chris Paul on State Farm commercials. His State Farm commercials paying him $5, $6, $7 million. Forget about his salary. He could have just booked. And if they would have decided not to play, and I said this, 4 or 5 months ago? I said what? No black sports 2020. Hashtag no black sports. Because right now, that's pushing the economy, taking people's mind off, momentarily on what's really happening with COVID and our massacre of our people. Nobody's watching hockey. Nobody's watching golf. They waiting right now. Nobody's watching baseball, my sport. Nobody's watching that. Man, they watching NBA, even with the ratings down, but they got a epic center that we can all, galvanize and come around the table because they waiting for the big show.
Yeah.
If they walk out and they even stay out for 6 weeks, the season in the NFL starts in 2-3 weeks.
Yep.
Now they putting big pressure on the $20 billion a year machine. They come right back. Guess what, dude? I got no respect for you. Don't come talk to me at my school. Don't come do this. Don't come do that because you're a fraud. And you're just a puppet being manipulated by the marionette puppet master. That's all it is, man. And the only ones that went out of this are the owners, the corporations, the sponsors. But they could have flipped the script because most of those stadiums, Nick, financially are financed by your tax dollars, my tax dollars, where they get free tax abatements incentives to build these billion-dollar stadiums off of your back. And they, guess what? When they doing that, guess who the owners are talking to? They talking to the governor. They talking to the mayor. They talking to the attorneys. They talking to the local politicians. Because in order to get that vote, to get that stadium, they got to go through that whole chain of command, and somebody's pocket got to get cushion.
Right.
They could have held out, told them owners, look, here's what I want. Number one, I want you to have a town hall meeting with the governor, the mayor, the district attorney, the sheriff county police right now. Boom. Then I want this because guess what? Those jobs, when everything comes back to normal, hundreds of thousands of people, maybe 1 million people across the country, from your ticket handlers to your vendors that are selling the popcorn, the candy, the beer, up to the executive suite, all impacted. They stop, no paychecks. Now you got their attention. Now you can make some demands. And even though you may not think that that will trickle down to the police, guess what? It will. Because guess what? The sheriff is an elected position over the county. Fire him. Domino, mayor, all them cats. Roll downhill. You not play any more games? $40-50 billion impacted. Now you're gonna. Are you gonna stop these idiots from killing people? No, but you can prevent a lot of this other stuff. The 17-year-old white kid who comes out with an AR-15 automatic rifle, kills 2 people, shoots 3, and walks right up to the cops. They don't even arrest him. And they go get him the next day when he says it's okay to pick him up. Think about that, man. This kid, coward. Now they got the Kenosha militia out on the streets. So how much more BS can you expect me to swallow? But, you know, let the dog get away and everybody stops. And my man, J.A. Adande on ESPN, who's a professor at Northwestern, he summed it up. He said, this is no different than a terroristic event, a catastrophic event in America. Guess what? When 9/11 happened, we shut down everything because it was a terrorist attack on America. Shut down everything. COVID, shut down everything. You know, when these events, guess what? It is a terroristic attack on Black men, women, and children. And we represent 13% of the American economy. Not only did we build 100% of it, so everything should shut down if they shut down all sporting events. Similarly, that actually have more impact and more lives. 500 lives have been taken by police this year of people that look like you and me. 9/11, it turned out it was like 2,000 or 500. And there's going to be more because now these people are embracing to think that, you know what? I'm Magna, make America great again, right? You know, make America great. So I'm a 17-year-old kid. I'm just going to walk out without that gun. Is he walking out there coming with these? No, because he'd get his ace whooped. So all they did was show their cowardness, their yellow stripes up their back from LeBron, Chris Paul. Doc Rivers even came back after he said that passionate speech and his dad was a cop. And he was like, oh, I think we ought to. No, you don't. Because you thinking about that paycheck. If you ain't saved your money, that's your bag. But the civil rights movement, those people gave everything. The Emancipation Proclamation, Frederick Douglass, they gave everything. Malcolm gave everything. And the best analogy I can give you, if you real about this, you like breakfast, Nick? You like breakfast?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what the difference is between the chicken and the pig when it comes to your plate of breakfast.
Between the chicken and the pig?
Because they make 2 popular breakfasts. Pig is bacon,
Yeah,
chicken give you eggs.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
who's all in, baby?
He said, who's all in?
Yeah, which one all in? Is it the chicken or the pig? All in for your breakfast.
The chicken.
No, the pig. To get that bacon, you got to get that life.
Oh, well, you use me as the wrong example. I ain't dealing with no pigs.
Right. But again, I don't eat pork either. But my point is, I get scrambled eggs and bacon.
Yeah.
Chicken, you drop a couple eggs, still moving, baby. That pig, you eating that bad boy. That's commitment. You got to be able to sacrifice something until the economics come down where they are not impacted, or they are impacted like you and I. You know, we miss 2-3 checks we may be out on the street, but you miss some playoff bonus money. Because remember, 80% of the salary is already paid. This is the playoffs. You get bonus playoff money. You understand that? So just the fact that they completed the season, they got 3/4 of their salary based on the prorated schedule. So they don't need to play for them dollars. Them corporate sponsorships they got already paid, bro. And what sponsor in his right mind, when Kenny Smith walked off and everybody walked up and said, hey, Kenny, I got to terminate your contract because you stood up for your people and all these people getting killed. That's that what they call it, the clause, the morality clause in your contract with us. You violated it. Oh, really? Guess what? We'll see you in court, boss. Because that's what Shaq and Charles Barkley did. Well, you know, I think we ought to give them a consideration and we should think about it, talk about it. And in his ear, his agent said, you know, we just signed that Carnival, you know, sponsorship, and it just wouldn't look right, Shaq. We got the gold bond and the icy hot. Man, you know what? 90% of the people that buy that, Shaq, I hate to tell you, brother, but they look like me. And even though they feel your pain, but they're not going to buy and like you to support us. So, you know, soldier up, talk a good game, smile, show your, you know, your hurt, and talk about your story about how you served, you know, and your father served, and you're a sheriff and everything. And common sense is we come and we have a collective town hall together and we talk it out a little bit. And then if everybody decides to walk off, then you will look good for it. And we'll better re-up that contract. That makes sense, Shaq? Diesel, you know, Shaq Aristotle, you know, Shaq, you know, commercial man. Makes sense, don't it? So that's all I got to say about that, bro. In my household, it's real simple. If I had a son or a daughter that's playing any professional sports, dude, they don't walk totally, there's no relationship between me and them. Just that simple. It's like at the University of Missouri, when that president was a racist and they said we're not going to play any games or we out, that's a boycott. Back to you, Nick.
Yeah. All right. Hey, the corporations, the corporations and the businesses and the hotels down in DC are going to do pretty well this weekend too, with the March on Washington going on too this weekend. I think they kicked that off today. at least that one is going to be performed and look nicer than this NBA one.
It's all it go, baby.
Yeah, because think about it, they have to get permission too to have that March on Washington. They have to get the permits. They got to get the insurance. To get the stage set up and the microphones and all of that, and the contracts drafted up for all of the the big name speakers and quote unquote leaders and performers and all of that.
and here's the sad thing, man. God forbid that would happen to somebody in your family, my family. I'm not going to let you use my child, my grandchild picture for your performance to pad in your pocket. Dude, it's becoming a fact that now they're making so much money off these t-shirts that somebody's got to make them. They're not doing it for free. You feel me? So you're not putting my kid's picture on no shirt, on your back, speaking the words out of your mouth, because that's my child. And that's what you're going to see on display. They're going to mention every person's name. But again, what are you doing, boss? You know, man. Drop the mic, baby.
yeah, that's it.
What's our topic, man? I'm enjoying my sweets and my beverage.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's just back to school time, So this is my back to school show, and I named this topic are you doing school from home, or are you homeschooling as well? You know, so those two things may sound like they're the same thing, but they're not. So especially now when we're, you know, in this time of COVID, and school is moving virtual. There's some schools that are in person, but you know, a lot of schools, you know, my district will be completely virtual for the first marking period. And you know, we were virtual back in the spring between March and June. So this whole idea of schooling from home just pretty much means that you're using, you know, you're still using the state mandated curriculum and requirements, but you're just performing it at home rather than physically in the school building. And you know, there might be you know, oversight from the local school district or the state. There might be standardized testing included with that also. Now, if you look at homeschooling, on the other hand, homeschooling is when, you know, that parent, guardian, or that student is taking control of the education, and it's student led, it's child led, or it's parent led, and they're actually designing the curriculum and what what the student needs and wants to learn, rather than them just receiving it from, you know, a school district. So I pose the question: are you schooling at home, or are you going to take advantage of this virtual learning opportunity to incorporate some homeschooling as well?
Man, I love the topic. I'm wondering if you knew my background in the homeschooling that you came up with that topic.
Oh, I know a little bit of it. Yeah, I know a little bit of it. I know that your kids. I know we spoke to the founder of your kids' independent school, and did they do a little bit of schooling as well?
My kids have been homeschooled majority of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Majority. So my 16-year-old son, who has a full engineering scholarship to the University of Texas at Austin, was homeschooled from the time he was 9 years old all the way up to 8th grade. And he spent 4 years in a high-end magnet school. He spent a year and a half in a private Catholic school, but the majority of his life was homeschooling. All of my children. So even when you spoke to Know Thyself Academy, right, with the incredible Rose Spencer, mm-hmm, my children only went to that live sit-down school 3 days out of the week. So my children have been on the cutting edge, early adopters, since 2007. Khan Academy, Scole Academy. I'm a firm advocate for homeschooling. And here's why. Okay. Academically, it's beyond comparison to people who go to public or private schools. And nothing against it. I went to a private school, went to a magnet public school for a while. But here's the difference. Is number one, I get to constantly instill my morals, my principles, and my ethics. That's number one. I don't have anybody governing over my children, telling me that my children got to get sex education in 2nd, 3rd grade. Mm-hmm. I don't have anybody telling me my children can't praise God when it's in the Constitution. And thirdly, most importantly, my children's gifts, the individual gifts that God gave them, cannot be thwarted by teaching to the least intelligent person at their class group. Not their intelligence, not their age, but at their class. So what we've been able to do is accelerate our children's gifts, find them first, and create a curriculum customized to their personal talents. And that shows statistically, kids that are homeschooled from K through 12, they graduate at a higher percentage of success than kids in private schools. Because you know why? They are doing independent study that requires discipline because no one's lording over their back. They get the syllabus, they get the curriculum, and you got to get to it. So my kids have been given a curriculum, a regiment, and they've been able to focus on STEM, science, technology, engineering, math. Focus on speaking. One of the biggest fears people have is public speaking. So I've been able to put my children in a position to get them out of their comfort zone, to shine the light on things that they may not be gifted at, but they need to have the ability. Just like we on this show, you may not be comfortable talking on this medium, even though you're highly intelligent, super gifted. So having the ability to homeschool your kid, your child, find their gifts early and magnify it. And see, another thing, what happens even in private schools, my older son and my younger son was in a private school, one of the top private schools in my area, where athletes, doctors, lawyers, who's who. So my son was already ready to take algebra in like the 5th, 6th grade. They told us, your son's not mature enough to be in the class with the kids that are 3, 4 years old, and he's already a couple of grades ahead. I said, so wait a minute, hold up. So you want me to protect your kid because of his or her insecurity, that my son is able to sit in the class and do the math that you're not capable to do at the pace he can do. And then they'll try to give you this excuse about, well, they need to be socialized. I said, man, that's funny. My child, again, chess champion, #1 in this district. I said, do you know that chess matches can take sometimes 4 or 5 hours? Sitting down, being quiet. So what is this foolishness you're talking about? And then on top of that, it gives them the ability to learn about business and go travel with their parents and see what the real world is like and learn adult skills, but at the same time, they're able to socialize at their own level because they have access to friends, sports, social events, no different. So having taken the chance and saw that homeschooling was able to take science, my business acumen, and ability to take them around, my children have only accelerated, and people who have come in contact with us that didn't embrace Khan Academy 7 years ago. But now, almost every school has Khan Academy in it, any school worth its salt. But 7 years ago, oh man, we're not getting on the internet and doing Khan Academy. Now everybody, dude, you can't get away from Khan Academy, cutting edge. So when you line them up side by side, the independence that they learn early, because one of the part, even when you're real smart, like I was when I went to college, being away, dude, was like being get out of jail free card. Oh man, nobody look on my back. Oh, I don't have to go to class. Oh, I ain't going. It wasn't because I wasn't smart. I didn't just show up to the class. But with homeschool, you don't get the work done. Just like in college, you get the syllabus. You don't do the work, you fail. So they learn that. Then they learn that they can accelerate, or you can take them back. And there's no shame or anything in it if they're not good enough or on par with certain, categories and certain curriculums. That's the benefit. But the most important part, dude, their self-esteem, Nick, through the roof.
Wow.
Through the roof. I rarely meet a homeschool child that is not super confident, not arrogant, but just has this internal confidence about him or herself, because they're putting more time in too to the curriculum. They don't have to wait and listen to the English teacher. I forgot what's the person that comes into class for the people a little bit slower that's now mandated in the public system that they got to come in, the teacher's assistant, or what is the name of it? You know what I'm talking about?
Talking about the paraprofessionals or teacher's aide?
The teacher aide. Well, they'll come in where there's slow people in the class, and they have to come in and kind of like show them how to do the work, but everything slows down. They call it the specialist. It's called the specialist. Okay. Didn't have that when I was growing up. And I'm like, wait a minute. The specialist comes into the live class and has to, introduce and tell this person where they're at. So you're now, as an English teacher, you're teaching down to the lowest. You're not teaching to the highest and most smart. There's no curve, no bell curve, because you're teaching to the lowest. Unless you're in a super affluent, highly competitive school, when you get that specialist coming in, everything slows down. And then if your child says, you know what, I want to take electronics in the 4th grade. Oh, but you can't take electronics because that's a sophomore class in high school. You know what? I want to take coding in the 5th grade. Oh, you can't take coding until you're in the 9th grade. Why not? But I do got to take world history. I got to take geography. I got to take social studies.
Yep.
But to go to a highly competitive college like Howard, you got to have 4 years of math, 4 years of science, 4 years of English. You can't take these remedial courses and then get into a Howard. So most of the time, homeschool children who parents know what homeschooling is and how to put the curriculum together where they're not just trying to take a bad kid out of school, that has an outline of how homeschooling should be administered, their children excel almost 4 to 1. And I've been doing it since 2007.
Right.
And all of my children are 2 grades ahead, bro. Because we're teaching them at their enthusiasm and their intelligence for their talents. And when they're behind on something, we take the summer and drill down on that so they can get caught up on whatever they're behind. That's the advantage of homeschooling. It's a concentrated education, just like across the pond. Most countries in Europe, Africa, and abroad, it's normal for children to graduate from high school at 14, 15 years of age. It's normal for kids to graduate from college at 19. You know why? There's no elective courses. It's get right into your major and go get it. We get socialization and, dummy us down. And then it's a business, baby.
Oh, yeah.
So back to you.
Oh, yeah. That's, and another thing that I noticed, with that is that, a lot of kids that didn't have that experience growing up, when they become adults, they run into all of these concepts or these lessons that they felt that they should have learned when they were in elementary, middle, and high school, and they're like, wow, they should have been teaching this stuff to us in school, when it comes to business and money, and a couple of the interviews that we had with Bill Minix, he talked about leadership. We're not teaching leadership, and we're not teaching relationships and how to interact and build relationships with one another. So a lot of adults kind of realize that when they become older, but they're not making the changes.
Another thing, because our society is raced to the bottom and we over-sexualize, over-glorify athletes and entertainers, that's what they're teaching in school now. You also don't have to worry about your child being impacted by the silliness and bullying.
That too.
Trying to keep up with the Joneses. You know what I mean? And they're still going to have those experiences, but it's not going to get them off track to what they're really at school for. That's another tremendous benefit of being in a homeschool environment, is that you don't even have to worry about that silliness. It's practically null and void. And then another thing is you can add curriculum again. If your child is into the environment and into, animals and stuff like that, you can create curriculum to take them out and abroad and go everywhere you want to go. So with Know Thyself Academy, one thing that's great about Rose Spencer program, even though it's structured like a regular school environment, they go on like 4 or 5 trips a month.
Wow.
Went to the Amazon warehouse, find out about the technology. The guy who created the Super Soaker, went and visited him. Happened to be a brother.
Yep.
Go and do charity work at the food, banks. Where are they doing that in school anymore, man? So my children are out serving the community, the less fortunate, making meals, seeing the humility that, you know what, you got to take this, be grateful. Community service. And I know in most high schools now, community service is a requirement, but I don't recall them doing that at the elementary level.
Right.
So my 7-year-old, my 11-year-old, they're out there at the food bank. They're out at the homeless shelter, helping out, seeing the contradiction between the have and have-nots.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if they thought for 1 minute, oh, I'm better than somebody else. No, you're not. You just happen to be born in the right family at the right time.
Right. Yep. Yep.
They're not sitting up here, oh man, I got to see what Cardi B got on. I got to see what Drake talking about today. Because that's the conversation in the hallways at your institution.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And the sad reality, just going back to the community service point, it's I would put requirements in air quotes because it's a requirement on paper, but it's not necessarily enforced. Unfortunately, at a lot of schools. So even on that level, a lot of kids aren't getting that experience, and or at least getting a meaningful experience, from performing community service.
Yeah. And another thing is it brings us back to where we used to be, where you had one person at home. It used to be a time, man, when I was growing up, early elementary school, that you actually went home for lunch. Imagine that. I used to live like four blocks from my school. Maybe I think it was like first kindergarten to like third, fourth grade. Go home, boom. Get your lunch, head back. So you were interacting more with that parental environment, and you weren't leaving the school to raise your child. And we started giving up those freedoms. So the homeschooling environment is amazing. And from a technological standpoint, man, what they're going to find out with you guys being forced at home, they're going to find the genius in a lot of kids who got HDD, AHD, whatever all this stuff are, short attention span. I think they used to call it, I forgot what they call it when I was growing up, because they would have probably, determined I was one of, when a kid is so sharp and they get bored real fast, quick thing they want to do is go get them evaluated, give them some Ritalin or something like that. But that kid is already past that, what you teach him. And you can't expect that kid to sit there for 45 minutes when they already did that last year. So when the kids are at home now, they're going to be on that computer getting access to the curriculum. You're going to see some kids that excel far beyond your imagination. And then you're going to see some kids who are not disciplined, that should have got disciplined at home. For whatever reason, parent couldn't afford to, be there and put that time in. And they're going to fall off. And then that teacher, what they're going to find out is a lot of stuff that you do need that physical interaction. Don't get me wrong. That physical interaction is important. But if you're just getting down to the basic of education, man, homeschooling is second to none. And again, the most important part, what I tell all the people I come across and I tell my children, man, number one asset you got to have, confidence. Not talent, not intelligence, confidence. You come across a homeschool kid that's got the same access to the same education as a kid in the best private school, you're going to find that homeschool kid has got more confidence. Now that private school, boarding school kid may have arrogance, which is really a veil for insecurity. That homeschool kid, Nick, is going to have that inner confidence that just exudes, that people just are attracted to. And I've been around all kids, Title I schools, private schools, home schools, hybrids, and I just see it. And I see those kids go off to college. You don't even have to think about them not graduating. And matter of fact, you don't even have 9 or 10 times have to think about them not graduating top of their class all the time. Because they have what they call independent study in college. I remember when I went to college, I didn't know what independent study was. Oh, just test out. Back to you, bro.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I really want to talk to the families whose students, whose scholars are still in the public school system. However, they're working virtually, because of COVID-19, and this presents a unique opportunity because some of the parents are working from home as well. So this is a great opportunity to start incorporating those homeschool features into that public school schooling from home environment that you got going on. Yeah. Get that.
Bring the family back together.
Yeah.
Guess what? The mom or dad that's COVID working from home, they can take lunch with their kids. Remember,
Exactly.
You'd have the parent day, bring the parent to the school, and they talk about their occupation.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with younger kids. You know what they want to do? They want to be around their parents.
Yeah.
So you can sit down, have lunch with your mom, your dad, your big bro, your big sister. Dude, go outside, shag a ball, do a kite with recess with your family. Are you really thinking about hanging out with Bob and Susie and Erica and Shaniqua versus I don't even see my dad because my dad's out grinding.
Yeah.
I very rarely see my mom because she's out grinding. But now I can have lunch, breakfast, hang out with them a little bit. Guess what? That solidifies the family unit. Yeah. You're going to see a change that. You're going to see crime go down. You're going to see test scores go up. ACT, SAT. You're going to see community more with that connected. When we get out of COVID, you're going to see some people will be like, you know what? I don't need to go back to high school. I got a friend of mine. Matter of fact, Mr. Dargan, his daughter on the homeschool program now. So I don't need to go back. This is perfect for me. High school. And you can still play sports. So people don't realize. Guess what? Anthony Davis went to a charter school, was kind of set up similar to a homeschool environment. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to prevent you from rising in the athletic world either. And definitely it's a benefit for somebody who plays a musical instrument. And the monies, which what George Bush #2 tried to do, make the private vouchers that you can go to any school. People didn't want that because now I got choice with my tax dollars to give my kid the best education, the best resources, the best tutors, the best specialists at their pace. Think about this. Back in the 30s, the 40s, that Little House on the Prairie wasn't fictional.
Right. Yeah.
You used to have a house environment with kids from K to 8th grade in the same school. That's what Know Thyself Academy is like. You got children that are in the 6th grade teaching kids in the 2nd grade, while the instructor is working with one of them in a group, and then she comes to work with them, and then they have the independent study on the computer. Dude, it works. It's a beautiful thing. It's like an amazing symphony.
Yep. Yeah.
And your costs go down precipitously. Nothing but upside homeschooling when it's done right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. This is a perfect opportunity to give it a try. It may seem like a lot, balancing, the homeschooling aspect and the district, curriculum, but it's certainly worth it. Like, think about it. You can go through whatever, required curriculum or material that you have to go through for the day, go go to your math class, your English language arts, your science, your social studies. Maybe you might get done at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You might go out, and go outside, have your recess time, come back in, get some money management lessons in, get some Black history in, about yourself, get some leadership lessons in the in the late afternoon, in the evening. It's take advantage of this time, of this opportunity, to incorporate everything that you're not getting in the public school or state mandated curriculum.
Oh yeah, and again, these curriculums from the public school system, again, it's teaching to the bottom. It's what's that? No child left behind. That's the minimum. It's not the maximum. You know what I mean? You're graded on your performance based on everybody being able to speak basic English, do basic math, not do calculus, not study, poetry at the highest level like Shelby and stuff. I mean Shelley. And what's the other guy? What's our guy named? The American writer. Forget his name right now. The most famous modern day American writer. Whatever his name is, but you're not teaching to that level. You're teaching to the bottom of the social economic system, and that's unfortunate. So them books behind you, you're not telling that kid, hey, you know what? Read 10 books this semester. No, it's we got to stay on chapter 5 because out of the 30 kids in the room, only 5 of them can get through chapter 5. So we got to stay on chapter 5 for 2-3 extra weeks because the specialists got to come in and make them feel comfortable about being in class. I mean, that's the sad part about it. But at the end of the day, you're going to see a lot of people understand the value. And again, technology has changed so much so that all the information that your child needs is literally at the palm of their hand. Their tablet, their Chromebook, notebook. And all you got to do is give them a curriculum, monitor them, give them some playtime, and even the older kids, give them more advanced things that they can do. And then they're going to raise up to that level. Man, it's about, you're going to see a paradigm shift. You're going to see people when COVID ends that don't want to go back to any school, private, public. They're going to want to be homeschooled. And see, here's the other flip part is that in the corporate sector, the people that the employers find out that their people can actually do work from home better than at the office, they'll say, hey, I don't need to pay the rent on these commercial buildings. And right now with COVID, Starbucks not paying their lease. Corporations say, hey, man, I don't need to be paying millions of dollars for this beautiful, object that's basically showing you that I'm successful, but I'm not getting the maximum return. I'll give you a laptop, best phone you can have, and you go at work and get that job done. That's what you're going to. So you're going to see a 180 change of where we used to be, where the community was more connected together. And then we will start diffusing and getting away from all this pop culture. Because that's all I see, man, when I go into schools. I don't see people raving about, hey, man, I want to learn about, big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning, digital marketing. I want to be a doctor. You go down the halls, it's, hey, man, did you hear the late so-and-so, the battle rap and so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. I mean, yeah, we're going to do that stuff anyway, but we're not doing it so magnified that it's dominating all of our world, which is a detriment to everybody. And then even on the converse side about the stuff that's happening in our society where people are, hunting our people, guess what? They're getting that stuff by being in environments that are, promoting this propaganda about, Make America Great Again.
Mm.
So you're gonna see that, man. You're gonna be amazed when school starts for you. Look at this. You're gonna see children who are a little bit slower, gonna get excited and ignited by just being online, doing their curriculum without distractions, and they're gonna excel. Then you're also gonna see the people who are the social butterflies, who's all about that tomfoolery all the time, that ain't gonna do well. Can't talk their way out of assignment. Hey, teach, can I get a makeup on this? That no. Can't do that. You're gonna see a lot of that put to rest.
Yeah.
The homeschooling curriculum was revolutionary 10 years ago when nobody was doing it. It's gonna be the new norm, rightfully so.
Right.
Mark my words on it. Like I said, I've been doing this for 13 years. I should start teaching a course about it.
Right. It definitely. I'm sure there's definitely going to be a need for it, because I know there's a lot of parents out there that feel overwhelmed and they feel intimidated by just knowing that they have to help their kids. You know, even with the regular school curriculum.
Well, check this out. This is going to make your job more honorable, more appreciated financially. Check this out. Our founder of our program, Know Thyself Academy, she teaches online English to Chinese students.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, a lot of people will go over to China, Japan, and teach English as a second language and get paid a ton of money. She does that online and have been doing it for the past year, 2 years. Getting paid top dollar. So think about it. You're an English teacher. Think about that instead of you going up, but you probably want to travel. But think about them paying you $80 an hour,
Right,
$100 an hour to teach English to Chinese and Japanese. So now teachers can get the true value of their expertise and experience versus being told by the state, by the private school. Oh man, private school salaries are ridiculously low. Unless you are top boarding school, they make you think it's an honor to be a teacher in their institutions, because most time it's a woman and they expect that the husband is the breadwinner making hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. So you can take, even though you've been here 10 years, you don't need to make but $40,000 a year, even though you have 2 master's degrees. But in a comparable profession, 5 years in, you making $100,000.
Right.
And God forbid, you know, a guy, you're getting paid a decent salary, but you're not getting paid what you're worth if you were teaching English to Japanese students, Chinese students. You make double, bro.
Yeah.
So it's going to put the spotlight on the ones who've got those deliberate skills that are masterful. Yep. Oh man, I'm so excited about homeschooling. It ain't even funny. And I remember the first time I did, everybody's like, "Man, what are you doing, man? You're gonna be putting your kids back. They're gonna fall behind." My kids have just been accelerating, dude.
Excel, yeah.
My 13-year-old is a freshman in college. I mean, not in college, in high school.
High school, yeah.
Freshman, taking advanced, you know, AP classes.
Wow.
My 11-year-old in 8th grade. We might hold her back because my youngest is 7, because I don't want too much of a difference between them being together. Right. But other than that, there's no downsides, man.
Wow.
And if people want to know, I can tell them about many great programs that they can go through and check out. Top tier homeschooling programs, hybrid programs. And see, that's one of the best things about it, Nick. If you have certain skill sets as a professional that you know are not available to your child now, you can create a curriculum on top of the general education, the minimums that your kid got to have, and get them here. My 7-year-old has been to expos with us.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So teaching them the networking skills.
Right.
Spoken from stage. My 7-year-old hasn't yet, but everybody else has. One point in time did something. Introduced me, spoke. Boom. Check. I'm comfortable doing that.
Amazing.
I mean, isn't that the thing? Aren't we supposed to teach them to have these skills that they don't have to come back and be dependent on us?
Right. Yeah. That's what we're supposed to do. But we leave it to the school.
Right. It's becoming babysitting.
Yeah.
Except for the Excel kids.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to what's called the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. 20% of the kids are going to do 80% of all the work. 80% of them are going to just be causing you pain and all that stuff. You got to have a parent-teacher meeting and yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying we want to do away with educators, because your job is more important than 90% of the jobs out here, but it's devalued. But again, you can now have more of an impact through technology, helping these kids out if their parents have the economics and one person can be at home just to oversee them. And then when they get to be 10, 11, 12 years of age, they should be disciplined. Homeschooling teaches them.
Yep.
Think about it. Child prodigies, actors, sports athletes, when they get to a certain level where they far exceeding people and they can't, stay on pace with what they need to do when they project them to be professionals, even violinists, guess what they end up doing? They get independent study and personal tutors. What is that? That's homeschooling.
Right. Yeah.
And they don't miss a beat. And a lot of those kids end up going to Harvard, Princeton, Yale, USC. You're like, man, how they doing that if they're not in a regular class environment? Because they getting accelerated courses. Instead of them spending 45 minutes, think about this. I'm in your class as an English teacher. How much one-on-one time am I getting with Mr. Westbrooks? Honestly.
Very, very, very little. If you're, unless you're one of those persistent kids.
And it's not because you're not trying to help them, but what's the average size of your class? Honestly.
About 15 to 20.
15 to 20.
Yeah.
But what if I'm able to take that ratio down to, for one teacher, 5 to 10 students? Now, is he or her getting a good amount of your time in 45 minutes?
Oh, they're definitely getting even more. Yeah.
And just that encouragement that you give them for 5 minutes makes them feel better and they work harder. Think about it. You got 10 students, 45-minute class. You can give each one of those kids 5 minutes independent study of your one-on-one time with them. 20 kids, it's not possible.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Imagine that. Every day is like a penny double for 30 days. Exponential growth, mental-wise, confidence-wise, encouragement-wise.
Yep.
Game changer, brother.
Oh, yeah.
That's homeschooling. Done right.
Yes, yep, and the nuts. yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Gotta have that part in there. Yep.
Right. You are gonna have in any business, any curriculum, there's always a downside, always a plus side. But the median is better than the median of anything else. And I can talk to it because, again, my children, other than my 7-year-old and my 11-year-old, have been in private school and public school. So they've seen all three worlds.
Yeah.
You be picking these topics, man. You're giving me layups. Every week you've been giving me layups. I'm about to see you bonus.
Hey, I feel like it's gonna be a lay, either a layup on the or a free throw, no matter what I choose. Hey, they tell you, never never fear or never run away from the question or the topic. He can handle anything. But I definitely want to commend you on that. For the job that you did with your kids. I mean, on the homeschooling front and just in general. Because I've met all your kids, virtually at least, and yeah, you see the man that's on the screen. If you haven't met DJ's kids, I could just tell you the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree.
They're all impressed. We appreciate that. Thank you very much, man. I mean, thank you for acknowledging the hard work, the discipline that we've taken, the deliberate hours that we put in to actually master a skill. That's really what we've done. I can't take a lot of credit. I just had the courage, and we collectively came together, and we held them, the two dirty little words, discipline, accountability. We read the books, we did the research, and we created, and we trusted God was going to make up the rest, and we didn't lower our standards either.
Right. Yeah. There you go.
So, and that's acknowledgement, just like how you talked about when you go get advice from your mom, your dad, your grandparents about being single. They say, hey, ain't no rush, Nick, because you're getting that advice. So that's the same thing we did: deliberate practice, accountability, discipline. Bars up here, literally the bars up here. No excuse. And we expect from the first person who was the guinea pig, my 16-year-old, that my 13-year-old will get better because I now know how to teach better.
There you go.
And then my 11-year-old, I know how to teach better even more.
Even more, yep.
So I get better. You see what I'm saying? So, again, we appreciate you acknowledging that, but let's stay on point with the principles that are universal. We emulated other people that were pioneers, and then we had the courage to ride through the course and have chosen the right vehicles like Khan Academy,
right,
Code.org, Scholé Academy, Know Thyself Academy, that actually allowed us to grow and learn to get better. And there's actually a book called Talent is Overrated.
Okay, yeah, heard
and
of that.
It talks about the 10,000 deliberate hours that gives an example about this guy who wanted to create master chess players, grandmaster chess players with his daughters. And he knew nothing about chess. He had 3 daughters. First daughter became a master. The youngest daughter became a grandmaster in world record time because he got better. Doesn't that sound familiar? Serena Williams. Venus was great, but Serena is the greatest of all time. Because Richard learned what to do right, eliminated what he was doing wrong just because he didn't know. So he got better as an instructor. Tiger Woods, not a big fan of Tiger Woods, but what people don't realize about Tiger Woods' dad had other children from a previous marriage. A lot of things he didn't do right, but when he got Tiger, locked in at 3, saw he had a gift, put them deliberate hours in. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with a violinist. There's a Freakonomics is a great book if you've never read that. Freakonomics talks about how you can take one variable difference between a world-class violinist and a violin teacher in high school. It's only difference of hours. Did you know that? I thought it was talent. It's the difference, literally, Nick, from one person practiced violin 3 hours a week, the other person practiced 6 to 7 hours a week. Because they get multiplier to the 10,000 hours of deliberate practice, which talks about outlier. That you get those deliberate hours in right away, you become a child prodigy. And anybody can do that. Once I start studying the science behind that, I started putting my children, when I found out what their gifts were, right in that lane, and I didn't care what anybody else had to say. And if we apply that same principle in our regular schooling systems, all the kids would excel. All of them. Talent is overrated. Talks about the 10,000 hours. Freakonomics talks about how you can tell the difference just between the 1 or 2 hours extra of you teaching. The difference between a teacher teaching a pianist or a violinist is playing in Carnegie Hall. It's just hours. Got nothing to do with talent, bro. When I noticed and learned how that worked, I just trusted it worked. Put our head down, put the curriculum together, find the right programs, right homeschooling environment, and put our children in it. And if we can do it, you can do it. Everybody can do it. And it doesn't diminish the public school system. It doesn't take away from the Nick Westbrooks who are masterful educators. It actually makes you more valuable. Because guess what? People who are looking to have that homeschooling done by the highest and the best of the best, they're going to pay you everything. Why do you think people spend more money on education than anything outside of entertainment? Kaplan schools. Look up, man. It's all kind of tutoring schools across the board, focusing on making your kid. Ain't no parent. That's the reason why them two actresses, the two clowns, McLaughlin and the other chick, paid $500,000 to get their children in the U.S. by cheating the system. Now, it only costs $60,000 a year to go to USC, but again, it's a highly competitive school. They don't let any Joe or any Jane in. But they paid $500,000, changed their transcripts, cheated their scores, padding the pockets of people, got their kids that were not qualified to get in $500,000.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Homeschooling is equivalent to like a person who plays a individual sport. If you know somebody has excelled at swimming, karate, golf, tennis, most of those people are in individual tutoring programs or homeschool environments because the workload of the athletic career is so hard, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, they can't be in a regular school environment. That's why they have the IMG Academy. $40,000, $50,000 a year to go there, even from 1st to 8th grade. That's homeschooling. So you're going to see the next 5, 10 years, probably going to be 30, 40% of people in America, children being homeschooled. And what's going to speed that process up is COVID-19 coronavirus.
Yep. Yeah. And that's kind of going back to our first show about finding the opportunities, in the midst of everything that's going on. This is one of those areas that you need to be looking for the opportunities to excel. Turning this pandemic, into an opportunity. Education,
pot of gold, baby. Pot of gold.
Yep.
That's what we're looking at. I mean, man, you couldn't have chosen a better topic. Like you said, you're on the north. What is it called? The northeast.
Northeast. Yeah.
So generally, like right now, where we are, Crusher, he's been in school for the past 3 weeks. RBD just started school this week. My girls just started school this week. So as you're going across the landscape, everybody's going to be back in school after Labor Day.
Yeah.
Like you said, 90% of them are going to be at home.
Yeah.
And then when they see that model works, it's going to be, well, why we got all this fat? They're going to start looking at the economics. And then here's a great thing. Those tenured teachers who don't do nothing, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
They're going to say bye-bye. And they're going to have the union and all this crap. Hey, man, why are we paying you to sit up here babysitting? You're not adding any value. So that paradigm is going to change because guess what? They're already doing this in Japan, China, India. They've been online, like I said, taking English as a second language, dude, for years. Second, and going to be the #1 English-speaking country in the world is India. China, right on the backdrop, bro. Some of these people come over here, you can't even just tell they have an accent at all. And they doing coding, machine learning, big data, artificial intelligence. How you gonna compete with that if you got a specialist coming in and you got a kid in the 6th grade that's 14 years of age and can't even read and write at a 3rd grade level? But you got to hold up, Mr. Westbrook, and let the specialist work with the kid while the super smart kid is getting bored. And if that kid looks like you or me, they now calling that a problem child. Because they're getting fidgety. You can't expect them to stay, still for 5, 10, 20 minutes. Come on, man. Hyperactive. That's what they called it. When I was growing up, they called me hyperactive. But the reality is, I was in class, already knew how to do this stuff, but I got to sit around and wait. Oh, man, there's something wrong with him. No, you know what's wrong? I already knew this last year. Put me in another class. My mom, I had a chance to make a double like my children have. And since my sister is 2.5 years older than me, my mother wouldn't let me get the double because I would have been in the same class with my sister. But I would go to the special programs in the summer, go to the high school programs when I was 6th, 7th grade. But the school we were at, private school at the time, offered me a chance to be in the same grade, 5th, instead of going to 6th, to go right to 7th grade. And my mom was like, nope, can't do it. It was like, what? Well, don't want them in the same grade. And my sister's super smart. She probably could have been in a higher grade, but my mother made that decision. That affected me. But guess what? Conversely, on my athletic side, they didn't hold me back on athletics. Ain't that something? My baseball, I play with kids 2, 3 years older than me. My bowling, play with kids 3, 4 years older than me. On the school teams, they couldn't wait for me to be playing at 5th grade with the 8th graders, 9th graders. Because you know what? I could bring them glory by bringing in these trophies. Does that sound familiar? Oh, you don't have to come to class. Go ahead and, go practice. But, he can move up two classes academically. Well, let's hold off. We don't want to cause any friction in the house. Might not be mature enough to handle it, but, you can hit a baseball and you can throw it, fast and hard to anybody. Oh, no. You don't need down here to play with these guys your age. You need to be with those kids 3, 4 years older. Make the school look good. Same thing. I was a bowler, world-class bowler. I'm in the 4th grade bowling against cats, 7th to 8th grade because we had a bowling team. Killing them. Oh, they ain't got no problem with that. You see the hypocrisy in that, bro. But we should be doing that. Again, I take it back to, guess why them kids accelerate in the spelling bee contest? What do you think they doing? They at home grinding.
Yeah, it's going. Yeah, back to that 10,000 hours.
Grinding.
Yeah.
Learning the etymology of words. Dictionaries, concordance, grafting the knowledge. And all it took was one kid about 10, 12 years ago to break through as an Indian. And now you can't stop them from winning that spelling bee. That's homeschooling, bro.
Yep. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yep. Homeschooling when it's done right.
I'm gonna give your show back to you. I apologize. I didn't mean to dominate the show, bro.
It's all good. I mean, you got the, hey, I'm just here to introduce and lay the backdrop. You're able to speak from firsthand experience, with the homeschooling. I can give my observations from the opposite end, working in the public schools, well, public charter and district, public schools. I definitely appreciate that. You're definitely able to, offer and provide some insight that I definitely wouldn't have been able to provide. But just one more thing that stood out to me when you were talking about the 10,000 hours. It reminds me of the English language learners that I have as students, and how English is a second language, but they're excelling past the students who English is their native language. because they're grinding and they're putting in the time. So that was just another reminder of the 10,000 hours in action that I've actually experienced firsthand.
And what can those people say that only speak English? Can't say a dang thing. Can't make no excuses. Come on, man. Come on. Now, let me give you a flip on the technology side.
Yeah, go ahead.
Zoom.
Yeah.
We've been on Zoom 5 years ago. Now, only mistake I made, I'm not human. I did not invest in Zoom.
You invested.
Ain't that something?
Mm-hmm.
We've been on Zoom 5 years ago, using it in homeschooling, and didn't invest in Zoom, bro.
Wow.
I think I got some of it in my index funds, which means like fractional shares, but the actual individual stocks,
yeah,
I should have bought Zoom. Just like when the Kindle came out, I bought a little bit of Amazon, but I should have bought a ton of Amazon because we were already early adopters, technology to education. That's how you bring it full circle to economics.
There you go. There you go.
Zoom has grown since March, 100% almost.
Mm-hmm.
Apple, 4-1 split on Monday.
Yep.
Because people at home got to use the tablets, got to use the smartphone, all that stuff economically. Again, if your children are tapped in, they can get ahead financially by doing the stuff that they are using that's cutting edge, but it's the norm in their social group.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Hey, and they learn about all of this in a homeschooling environment when homeschooling is done right. Because just based on my experience as a student and as a teacher, those students aren't getting exposed to any economics until their senior year of high school. and it's only for a semester at that.
At best.
Yeah.
At best. Man, we used to have business classes in high school in sophomore year. We had economics. I mean, it's like people don't take this stuff anymore, man. It's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, yeah, man. Homeschooling, man. We're excited about homeschooling, and I encourage anybody that's watching this video, do your research. If you have questions about curriculums and stuff like that, don't hesitate to reach out, to us. You can email Nick at DJTMCAP.com. You can email me at info@duransburg.com. I can tell you the ups, the downs, what to do right, what to avoid in the homeschooling environment, what to expect from the teachers, how to talk to the teachers to help them work with your student personally. And even in Know Thyself Academy, we've helped our founder, Rose Spencer, who's phenomenal, PhD, how to teach my children, in addition to the children that she's teaching, and actually showing how some advancements that we got to have that are going to be the norm, because we're competing against Japan, China, India. The language part, there's the language program app that's phenomenal. I'm trying to remember what the name is, but my children on it all the time. It's an incredible app. I can't think of it right now. It's got a little green bird, and it teaches all, the languages.
Wow.
Just phenomenal homeschooling environment.
Right. Yeah. There's plenty of resources out there.
Yeah. Another thing that people need to learn about. If you don't know that English, where it derives from, which is Latin.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the top homeschooling curriculums are based in Latin. How do I know? Because my children have taken it. And since I took Latin in high school, a little bit in college, I made a mandate that my children had to know Latin. Because Latin is the founding father of the Romance languages. English, Spanish, Italian, all derived from Latin. So if your kid wants to speak better grammatically, take Latin. And guess what? If you want to be a doctor, you got to know Latin. Top, bottom, left, to right.
There you go.
Isn't that something?
yeah, that is something.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Prescriptions and stuff, there all them real long words, all that stuff comes from Latin, man.
Yep.
They teach that stuff in med school. You can get your child right now, K to 12, Latin, boom. You got that, you'll easily learn how to speak Spanish. Easily learn how to speak French. Easily learn how to speak Italian. How do I know? Because I did it. Personally, went to school to a language academy, spoke French fluently and knew Latin fluently, even though it's not a spoken language, knew it all. So these are some of the things, if you don't go to a specialized language academy, you can get in a homeschooling environment. Exactly. And when I took Latin, Nick, personally, it made my ability to speak English better because Latin sentences are backwards. So everything that you do from the noun, the subject, the predicate, all that's in the back of the sentence that you got to break it down to bring it to the front. So the adjectives, the direct objects are at the front of the sentence. So it makes you think harder.
Wow.
But it gets easier for you when you translate into English.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Right. So think about a child that's got dyslexia. They master Latin, they'll be a master in English. Because dyslexia is inverted, right?
Right, yeah, yep.
There you go.
Yeah. Yep. Yep, homeschool environment.
I'll give you guys a PhD on homeschooling, baby.
Yep. Yeah. You're already getting a master's class in this conversation here.
Yeah, man. With that said, man, I think, man, I think is again, this is Nick's knowledge notions, baby. Woo!
Oh yeah.
Man, every episode getting better, man.
Oh yes, it is. Yes,
we bringing the hammer. Nick bringing the hammer.
Oh yeah. It's only gonna get better. Yeah. And so so I guess the overall message to tie this all together and put a bow on it is, well, my overall message is to take control of your education or your child's education. That's what it pretty much comes down to. Whether you're homeschooling, whether you're in public school, private school, make sure you're taking control of your child's education, and you determine how that looks for you. That's what it pretty much comes down to. So that's
definitely. We have a saying in Latin. It's called "Veni vidi vici," "Veni vidi vici," or "Veni vidi vici," which means I came, I saw, I conquered. So generally, the biggest thing that holds people back is fear, which is false evidence appearing real. So go out and embrace this challenge that the environment is put upon you, but find the lemonade out of the lemons, if that makes sense.
Right.
And you'll find out that this is actually a blessing in disguise. And again, the family unit will get tighter. Your child that's having some type of challenges and just attention span will get better because they'll have a better focus and they will have less distractions and they'll start to excel. And then you will see the highlight on a talent that you didn't know that they had.
Yep.
And like you said, at the end of the day, it's all about taking control of the curriculum. No matter if it's public, private, homeschool, at the end of the day, take control of the situation. Again, Veni vidi vici. That's VIDI, VICI, VENI, VENI. Veni, VENI. I came, I saw, I conquered. So I'll leave it with that note. on the homeschooling tip.
All right. Yeah, so as you can see, you got a great show tonight. It's getting better and better. We have other great shows. We have the financial expert interview series. We had Erica Williams last night. So if you didn't see that one,
they better check that one out, baby.
Yeah, so if you weren't, if you didn't see that one yet, head on over to the 7 Spheres of Money YouTube channel and watch that. Next week we're gonna have Miss Story, Astoria Stubbs, giving some powerful information on the hair care industry and finance.
We got your boy coming for Forex, Leonard Ray.
Yeah, Leonard Ray coming too. Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, we got powerful lineup. We're gonna have Corey P. Smith back soon. Yes, man.
We got that book club coming up.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him up and see if he's gonna be free on Friday so he can join in on this conversation when we talk about this book here.
Oh man,
Conspiracy of Credit.
Conspiracy of Credit, baby.
Yeah.
That's real. That's real, man.
So we got a lot of powerful. We got a lot of heat coming.
We already had the one time that I tell people, hey man, like, share, subscribe. And the only reason why I say this, Nick, is because I know for a fact that we're giving some science and some knowledge you cannot get anywhere else. Do I care about the popularity contest? Absolutely not. But in this lane here, we are the masters. And if you want to master education, you should like, share, and subscribe to this channel for that simple reason only. And here's what I say to you that is watching this. It is the fish who swims upstream that builds the muscle, the big bad boy. The one that goes downstream is dead, baby. Go upstream, and it's called concentric. Check it out.
Yep.
That's the reason why you should like, subscribe, and share this message, because that's the only knowledge we bring. That's real.
Yep.
Share that, baby.
Yeah, simple as that. Yeah. So with that, we'll go ahead and close this out. The way we always do. We wish you a pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money, peace of mind, and we want you to come join us on the beaches of the World Club. So until next broadcast, take care of yourself and see you soon.